Many parents find themselves trapped in a repetitive loop. You ask your child to do something calmly, they don't listen, and after several reminders, you lose your patience and start shouting. The child cries out of fear. You feel like a bad parent, and the resulting guilt makes the whole experience exhausting for everyone involved. Shouting creates a panic response that forces a child to go quiet, but doesn't teach them why they were wrong. Because the lesson is lost to fear, the child simply learns to hide their mistakes more effectively next time to avoid your anger. There is a clear distinction between fear and discipline. Fear is a temporary reaction that produces silence. Discipline is an active teaching process that helps a child internalize the difference between right and wrong. Breaking this cycle requires moving past instinctual reactions. By adopting a structured 7-step framework, you can maintain boundaries and teach your child without ever raising your voice. Step 1 is to identify and name the emotion behind the behavior before you try to fix it. If a toddler is throwing their toys, they might be frustrated because they can't fix a specific part. Instead of just telling them to stop, tell them you can see they are angry or frustrated. Naming the emotion disarms the child's defenses. When a child feels that their internal state is understood, they are much less likely to feel the need to act out to get your attention. Step 2 involves a simple semantic shift. Replace the word if with when. Instead of saying, if you don't eat, you can't watch TV, say, when you finish your meal, we will watch TV together. This change removes the threat while keeping the behavioral boundary exactly where it was. It turns a potential conflict into a positive sequence of events. Step 3 is to provide choices instead of orders to satisfy a child's natural desire for independence. Rather than telling them what to wear, ask if they want the red shirt or the yellow one. These first 3 tools, naming emotions, using when phrasing, and offering choices, prevent many tantrums from starting by giving the child a sense of autonomy within the rules you've set. When a child does something wrong and you feel your anger rising, apply step 4, the 5-second pause. Stop what you are doing, count to 5, and take a deep breath. This pause serves a specific cognitive function. It allows your brain's logical center to override your emotional reflex, reminding yourself that your child is still learning and you are the adult in the room. This stops the shouting habit before it starts. Step 5 is to use natural consequences instead of unrelated punishments. If a child plays with their food, the meal is over and the plate is removed. They will learn that not eating when it is time leads to being hungry, which is a far more effective teacher than an unrelated timeout. Step 6 replaces the isolation of a timeout with a time in. When a child is upset, sit near them without talking and let them finish crying. Staying close builds trust and helps them learn to regulate their emotions rather than fearing being left alone. Step 7 is to praise the child's effort rather than their innate intelligence. If they draw a picture or finish a task, focus your praise on the colors they chose or the time they spent working on it. Praising intelligence can actually cause children to quit when things get difficult because they fear that failing means they are no longer smart. Praising effort encourages them to keep trying and to view mistakes as part of the process. By combining these 4 regulatory tools with the language shifts we discussed earlier, you move from being a reactive punisher to an objective guide who allows natural outcomes to provide the lessons. Imagine you're at the supermarket to buy vegetables, but your child wants a chocolate bar. When you say no, they throw themselves onto the floor in a full tantrum while other shoppers start to stare. Your first move is to ignore the crowd and take your 5-second pause. This gives you the internal control needed to handle the situation without getting angry or embarrassed. Next, drop down to the child's eye level. Execute step 1 by telling them you understand they are angry because they can't have the chocolate. State firmly that you are only buying vegetables today. Then initiate a time in by telling them they can cry for 2 minutes while you wait right there beside them. By maintaining this calm, grounded presence, you provide a stable environment that helps the child move through their frustration. You've enforced the boundary and managed the tantrum without a single shout. In that moment, the boundary was respected, the discipline was clear, and you avoided the guilt that follows an angry outburst. However, these methods require time to work. Expecting instant results after only a day or 2 usually leads to frustration. children need to see extended, calm consistency before they fully trust and adapt to this new way of communicating. A child's outburst is typically a developmental response to frustration, or a brain that is still learning how to process big emotions. Remembering this helps you stay patient during the learning process. Effective discipline is built on connection rather than just correction. Subscribe for more parenting strategies, and please share the specific challenges you're facing with your children in the comments.